What's going on, everybody? It's Mr. Certified High here, and we are back doing another speed build today. We are doing the apartment, the 910 Medina Studios, basically the studio apartment, and this is gonna be a studio. Basically the way I did it was, pretty much has like its own bedroom. It just doesn't have a door to it. It's that empty space right there that you just saw me make. So there's not necessarily a door, so I guess it does still count as a studio. Like, you could say it's one bedroom, but we won't for the sake of the video, just because I think it sounds better with a studio. But the reason I kind of built this was really based off one piece of artwork. I just wanted to build an apartment. I felt like this would be the artwork to do it. The sim I decided I was going to put it in here because right now I'm doing a save file, so a lot of my builds are basically save file builds and builds that you're going to see if you download my save file later on when I release it. And this one is no different to that. This build is for Tanner Chadwick. I just downloaded or released him on the gallery as well. Essentially was a physics major. He has a physics degree. And was a mechanical engineer, but he never felt satisfied, so he actually decided he would drop out that good paying job and become a comedian. That's kind of where his interest always lied. And so that is what he's doing, and that's who I kind of had in mind when I was building this apartment. And so that was kind of my, I guess if you want to say, inspiration for it. Well, we can. But that is definitely what I was thinking of and who I was thinking of when I was doing this. Now, the funny thing about these, what are they called? These counters, is I really wanted to use these counters for a while. I've seen other people use them and they look really good in like certain situations. I wanted to make the situation where they look good. I don't know if it necessarily found out how to do that. I don't know if I did it amazingly, but I like the way the build did turn out, so maybe it did work out pretty well. And I feel like in a lot of my apartment builds, for some reason, I always have like, a too wide little nook, which is obviously where I always put the desk and computer. I don't know, it's not like I planned that out. A lot of my apartments I don't really plan out, which maybe is something I should do. I'd be planning these things out, but I just don't. I kind of wing it for a lot of these apartments. And this was no different, and so the nook just happened to come out. But yeah, I also, right now we're just kind of picking the wall. I really want to use this wallpaper. I feel like this specific wallpaper looks good with the counters. I think it's just because the orange kind of matches like the orange's tint of the of the counters, but they're tough counters to work with, definitely. But yeah, so like I was saying in kind of all my builds, and I think I said this in the yoga studio, I am not, where my creativity lacks is with the flooring and wallpapers. I think too realistic about things, maybe too analytical of a human, not enough of creativity. But I always think, like, when I put colors on walls, I always go, you know what, that's not realistic. No apartment would have like a blue wall. Like, they would just be painted white. Like, that's what the apartment would look like. It'd be like a white or like a tingy yellow. Right here I'm just trying to figure out how I can get in a couch and TV. I kind of wanted a separate living space, so I wanted, like, the bedroom to be its own little area. Not a room, but, its own little bed area. And have a separate living, couch where the couch will go. Right now I just didn't think that just having a couch floating out there in the middle of the room looked that great. So what I did with it, I'm pretty happy with what I did with it, because it does look a lot better. But I do think that comes a little later, because I'm just like, nope, not doing this. So basically how I kind of get color in pretty much all my builds is with the furniture. I don't know. I feel like normally that is something that, you can do a little more personalized, a little more colorful. And again, I think that stems from like the real life aspect of me. Kind of when I build, I'm go like, this isn't realistic. Like, this wouldn't really be the case. And I'm not saying all my builds are like 100% to a T realism. Like they're not. But this is the poster. This is the whole reason I wanted to build this apartment, because I wanted to put that poster there. But yeah, like I said, I'm not saying like my builds are all super realism, but I'm just saying, like, I guess when I play and like the way I build, I generally want more of a realistic setting. So here's what I do here. I put that nook, a little kind of nook area for the dining table. And again, I've said this before in multiple apartment builds and other builds. It's not something, especially for guys, I would say, but I guess I know tons of girls who have it. I would say it's a guy thing. I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm sure there's girls who do it, but all my guy friends, at least, it seems like, and most, and me obviously, since college, I haven't seen any of us have a dining table. Like in any of our apartments or our houses that we're renting or whatever, nobody has a dining table. Like I feel like we mostly just eat at the couch, and kind of are good with that. We don't really need a dining table. Now, some people have islands and they might have bar stools, but obviously this build wasn't like going to be really suited to a bar stool island. Maybe we could have put a couple counters on the other side of that wall where the table is going to go, and just put some like stools there. That could have worked too, I guess. But we went this route, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Let's get you a little 2x table. Even the only table I've ever had in my house was actually an outdoor table that used to be on my porch. And then when I no longer had like a fenced in porch, I brought it inside because I was scared it would get stolen. So it was literally my dining table. It was like a glass glass and metal table, and then with a bunch of like lawn chairs around it. So it was a typical apartment of what you'd think. So that, like I said, I just never really think about dining tables that much in apartments. At least not apartments of this size. Those smaller apartments definitely are not conducive to having these big grand tables. But I guess I do take that back. It's probably not a guy thing. It definitely is a space thing. Because I'm thinking like I do know people who have bigger apartments and they do have a dining room table. But anyways, what's happening right here is with that nook though. I'm just trying to match things up. But what's happening is you see in the corner is the stupid lights. They do this every time. For some reason, I don't know if it's not for some reason. It probably makes sense, but because you kind of put a wall and don't make it into a room, the light always bounces off the wall, shoots out to the other end of the wall, and like makes it like a spotlight on like that one area. So that's what's happening in the doorway. We don't ever really fix it. It's really tough to fix it without creating a room. Or just drowning the entire thing out with light, which kind of have been my only option so far. I need to look into how to kind of fix that maybe, or just kind of watch people and how they kind of work around it. But yeah, so the funniest thing about this apartment to me is the bathroom is so big. It definitely doesn't need to be that big, but I really wanted to include those pipes on the wall with the bathroom. And to do that, I needed to, and in the window, I didn't want to make another nook, on this side too. So to do that, we had to make it a pretty big bathroom. So we do give them a shower with a tub, and then, the classic sink, and then an extra little counter space, for, I think I put some cologne there, and I think that's it actually, is what I put there. Put cologne there, because it is for a guy apartment. You could easily change it around and put whatever sim you want in here. Obviously most of it's just furniture. And what I like doing really is, I'm not saying to do this, but I like doing sometimes is just downloading people's apartments or even houses or whatever, and just unfurnish them, and then kind of put my own furnishings in there. That's what I do with my gameplay. But I think this is a pretty good layout of an apartment. It does make having that kind of computer there really like works with that nook area. And then I feel like a lot of bigger studio apartments, because the truth is, in The Sims, all the apartments are bigger than any studio apartment would actually be. I live in a studio. I know they're small. They're always small. They might be the size of the kitchen and then that where the TV is. But obviously The Sims isn't going to make a lot or apartment that big. So, they're going to have to be a little bigger. So I feel like in the bigger studio apartments, they kind of do things like that. They have like a room, but it's not really a room because there isn't a door there. It's really just kind of this, space that's walled off that you could put, like, it's supposed to be a bedroom. It's more of a private setting space. I've definitely seen that a lot. Kind of just looking for apartments around the city, and going to other people's apartments too. And yeah, so right now we're working on the bathroom. Again, like I was saying, the wallpaper. I want to look at other people's, and I do all the time. I look at other people's builds all the time to see like what colors are they using, what colors could work in my builds. Like, I'm being way too conservative with just the all white wallpaper, the classic wood flooring, and then, you know, some rugs to spruce it up. And funny thing about this build actually is originally this was supposed to be a starter build. It's no longer a starter build. You see me checking out the price right there. It is no longer a starter build. I believe it's like 26,000. So it's not too far off, depending. But if you're having like one sim move in, it's definitely could not be their starter. Sadly, I'll definitely build some other starters, and obviously need them in my save file for the apartments. But as far as this one going as a starter, it definitely kind of furniture pushed it over the top. And I didn't really like. I went in with the idea of wanting it to be a starter, but I did not, you know, go in with a plan of it being a starter, I guess. And by that, I mean, I just didn't use all the cheap furniture and all the cheap counters and stuff like that. Ow, my cat is biting my toes right now. Yeah, as I was saying in the last video, I did get a new cat. That's why I was gone last week. Today is Wednesday, the 20th, when I'm recording this. And so I'm also going to stream today on Wednesday. I think I'm going to post this on Friday, so that stream already have happened, but today will be the first stream back since I've gotten the cat. And then, yeah. So, anyways, that was just a sidebar. But yeah. Again, this is like kind of a boring bathroom, I'll admit. You know, it's very realistic, I would say. You know, kind of half tile with some like plywall, or not a plywall. What is that? It's just, I don't even know what to call it. It's not like a full wallpaper or anything. It's like more of a plaster type consistency of a wallpaper. But yeah, this is, again, the apartment's pretty basic, and again, it is for a sim who is more of a conservative, or not conservative. That's more of a, you know, he's just moved in. He just gave up his job. He's more of a minimalist. It's definitely, I feel like I'm sort of a minimalist. Not like super. I'm not super into the minimalist lifestyle, but I'm definitely have more minimalist tendencies. I don't really like clutter and a lot of that type of stuff. So I definitely think I do project that onto my Sims, and especially my Sims builds where they kind of do become more minimalist and having nothing that's not needed. So like the only clutter that's there is just needed clutter. You know, so like pots and knives and you know, paper towels and stuff like that. Not so much just a bunch of mail sitting out. And I know Simmers that do that. I love their builds. I think it's awesome because I love a good lived-in house. I think it looks good. It's just not necessarily what I want to play with. And when I download a house, I don't necessarily want it to be super lived in because, and for the most case scenarios, if I'm actually going to play in it, I don't. If I'm going to just download the house and move some Sims into it and let those Sims kind of exist in my world, in that situation, I actually do want it to be more of a lived-in Sim. But yeah, so we were actually coming to the, oh no, we're not. Sorry, there's actually a couple more. Basically, the rest of this is decorating, but like I said, that was that one poster right there. Was the whole reason we built this build. And then I kind of wanted it to be more of a, like I said, I knew the guy I was going to move in there, and I kind of felt he wouldn't have, like his whole bedroom wouldn't be like one set. I think I do that a lot too recently just because it looks the best, but that's why I put that dresser as a different dresser as opposed to the rest of the set. Just because I was like, you know, I just don't think like I've never had a set of anything in my life. Like, well, not in my life, that's not true. But since I've moved out, I've never had a set of anything. You know, I've never been able to buy this dresser that matches this nightstand that matches this bed frame. Like, I've never been able to do that. I mean, when I was, you know, living with my parents, obviously then that was a different story. But it just seems like, you know, if you're going to be in apartments, these are kind of how it'd be set up. It'd be more things put together as opposed to things like set pieces, if you will. The last thing I think we're doing here is actually going to change up the dining room table. You'll probably just see that in a second. I do move it, and I put some more counter spaces, and then I change up the dining room table. But right now we're just like doing decorating the rest of the bathroom. Again, I don't use too much in the bathroom. Oh, you know what I realized I forgot in this build though? A trash can. So if you're gonna download it, I would definitely put a trash can in the build somewhere. I think I forget those a lot actually, now that I'm looking back on it. Sometimes I remember them like right away, and sometimes I forget them right away. I don't know why but you're right, we do. Here's what we do. Yeah, if we change the the table over to that side of the room and kind of make everything. And then we just basically drag the counters out to the other side. Now I actually did have in one of my houses when I was in like the 7th grade living in Florida. We had a house, like our house did this. It really did have counters like that were above a doorway, although it wasn't like an actual door. It was more just it was in the kitchen too, but it was just to another hallway, so it wasn't like a door. It was just like an arch. But we did have counters above it. We never used those counters. I actually think they might have been for show counters. I don't even know if they were like real counters. But so it's not like super unrealistic to have like the counter space above the door. And I felt like it was looked weird to not have like a counter continue on to the other counters on the other side of the room. But yeah, right now we are just kind of getting the rest of the stuff all set up. So I am going to leave it here. There'll be about a couple seconds left of me just kind of putting some random things here. I don't know why I put a bread. The weirdest thing in this house is that bread thing. What are they called? They're like bread boxes. Yeah, I think bread boxes. But it made sense. It fit there, so that's why I did it. I haven't used a bread box since living with my parents, but I imagine a lot of people don't. But maybe they do. I don't know. I could be wrong. So yeah, guys, this is, like I said, where I'm going to leave the build here. Stay tuned for the screenshots. It's already available on the gallery. It's under rooms. There's no custom content or anything in it. Just go to the gallery, download it, and then enjoy the build, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the build. I'll see you guys on the next video, and I hope you come to my streams. I do try to stream almost every day. But if you go to my Twitch channel, you'll see my schedule. So have a good day, guys.
I was above the center of attention, but I'm not. I wish I didn't have to give into the pressure. I'm posting pictures, trying to be someone I'm not. It feels just like I'm lying to you. I fake it, stage it, trying to live some perfect life. I know I'm wasting time, 'cause I just wanna call my friends.